After Dark. I am Taylor Rick. I don't have any other co-hosts here unless Rambo wants to come up and talk if he's got time. I'm willing to bet he's probably at work right now. So, rip Rambo. I don't know who else is in the chat. I can't see it when I'm looking at the thing here anyway. So, it is what it is. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got a lot to catch up on. We didn't have a show over the weekend, so we've actually got two sets of patch notes to talk about. That'll be the first and foremost thing. We've got some errant, wild, weird kill mills from around New Eden that we'll talk about as well. Yep, Rambo's at work. And I'm sorry I can't do it earlier in the day on a Tuesday for our European folks that want to listen to. But sorry, I worked as well all day today. So, in New Orleans, of all places. So that's why I'm coming to you from a hotel room. Yeah, it was a little more than that. It was a little more work than that, Barrick. It was actually quite a bit of running around different shops today, hence my voice is a little bit, on the deep throat side. Just a little bit deep. All right, let me get my windows done here so I can see everybody chatting. And I don't want to see this activity. I'll just get rid of that. And we'll do this. All right. Let's get right into the patch notes. We'll start with back last week, because there's a lot in this week's too. But really, we didn't even get the chance to talk about the supposed patch notes, the preview patch notes that came out on 3.5 during our maintenance, I guess. I don't know. They applied some of this stuff into the code of the game before. Yeah, I know, Damon. Deep throat, wrong choice of words. I get it. I know who the audience is. I understood the assignment. So they keep throwing. Eddie keeps throwing these curveballs at us with the Alliance updates, and they gave us an Alliance update preview that they said would go into effect in the next 7 days, and then didn't put it in this week's patch notes. So that means it's live as of tomorrow anyway, even though they didn't really give us anything in today's patch notes. So that Alliance update preview says after the updates on the diplomatic entity cap and the diplomacy suspension fee, the phenomenon of alliance monopoly in the entire universe has been alleviated. Yeah, Netties, I don't know who writes this shit for you, but or what kind of understanding you have of who is who in the game, but I'm pretty sure AOA is still a thing and absolutely nothing has fucking happened to them. So before I get into the rest of this little preview thing here, I just want to make a couple things clear about the size of AOA and a few other updates that they've done in the past 2 months, 3 months, or whatever. And one of them doesn't even apply anymore. So AOA is literally still 11 regions of the map. Out of all the regions on the map, there's still 11 regions. So they're huge. That hasn't changed. Like, nothing's changed there. All they've done is condense down into 3 main alliances: AOA, AOS, SOS. And then they still have their spin-off, like Neek and TCOS and guys like that are all still part of AOA, but they're separate alliances. So they don't have like alphabet soup 16 different alliances at this point, but they still have like 6. And each one of those major 3 that I first noted, AOA, AOS, SOS, have like 221 sovereignties in each one or more. Now, one of the things that Nitty's put into place with that was they were actually making the alliance pay a fee every week for the total number of sovereignty in the alliance. That was a thing. They charged that to alliances for 2 weeks straight and then quietly quit doing it. I don't know if anybody's realized that or not. No one's been talking about it, but they did it. They put it in the patch notes. It was a thing. Silent paid it twice. I complained about it, not because I thought it was a bad move or dickish or too much, but because the way that they were charging it, and this is why I think they got rid of it, by the way. And yes, AOA paid like some absurd amount of, I'm like seriously, like 200 billion a fucking week just for the total number of sovereignty that they had. like 200 bill a week across those three alliances. Last time I looked, that's about what it was, a little over 200 billion. But they stopped doing it, and they didn't say anything to anybody about why or when. But I think I have an idea of why, and it's because I was complaining. And my complaint was, if you looked at the map and you counted the total number of sovereignty that Silent has, Silent Alliance, Silent proper, it was like 78, or at the time anyway, it was like 78. But we were getting billed for like 85 or 88, every like 10 more every single week. And it's because there's a glitch on, and this is weird, it's a glitch on the map. There's a corp in the game, Rambo's old corp, Red 1, that shows in Silent and Fade, that's one of the regions we're in, but not in Silent and Pureblind. That's another region where we have a couple of Red 1 citadels. Those are part of my corp, part of Big. And so they're both in and out. Well, that's not true. They're not Red 1's not actually in Silent proper. It's not a corp that's in Silent anymore. But they were counting those because the map said that they were, because the map wasn't fucking refreshing. And it was doing that across everywhere. So there was citadels in a couple different places that were not in Silent, but still showing they were in Silent on the map. Therefore, they got counted, and you paid a bill. And I complained about that because NetEase fucking owes me money at this point. But they just stopped doing it. And I'm sure they were having the same problems with everybody else. And so I don't know how you fuck up your map this bad, NetEase. I mean, how do you mess up your map this bad? I don't get it, but whatever. So, yeah, they quietly stopped charging that bill, which was that's an absurd amount of money. It was an absurd amount of money when you're looking at the AOA side, but they were eating it. But I'm sure they complained as well. They probably complained a lot harder than I did. And they probably started their complaint with loyal customer, unlike my complaint started with you fuckers can't count. But, anyway, I digress. Getting back onto the patch notes. I love this, though. This still just makes me chuckle. The phenomenon of alliance monopoly in the entire universe has been alleviated. LO fucking L. Anyway, and it says, we have noticed that some corporations have chosen to merge while others have opted to recruit new members. Isn't that like an ever ongoing thing? I don't understand how this is news. This is like a new thing to NetEase, and it can actually go in the patch notes. Oh my god! It's been happening for almost 5 years. Overall, the number of capsulars joining corporations in the entire universe has increased, and thus we will continue with further optimization as planned. So notice the dichotomy here. On one hand, they're saying, or the hypocrisy, if you will, on one hand, they're saying the phenomenon of alliance monopoly has been alleviated, but then they're turning right around and saying, hey, we're going to continue overall the number of, what did they say? Yeah, there we go. And thus we will continue with further optimization as planned. So we're just going to keep putting the screws to you. According to the assessment, given the current situation in New Eden, the most interesting and dynamic alliance size is 10 to 15 corporations, with a maximum limit of 200 members per corporation. Now, a lot of people read that and thought, oh my god, they're going to set corporations max back down to 200. And if they did, I'd literally be on a plane to NetEase headquarters, like now. I'd book a flight. I'd be on a plane to get over there, and I'd probably get a hold of Cloud and wring his neck, and Pete somebody else with him, like Hulk to Thor. I mean, or Hulk to what's his name, Loki. Sorry, or Thor in Ragnarok. However you want to look at it, I don't care. Whichever movie that was, Love and Thunder. I don't know what the fuck the movie was. Those movies just all ran together at this point. But yes, Project, that's exactly what I would do. But no, they're not doing that. That's not what they mean by that. Yes, that one right there, Count. Thank you. That scene right there. That's exactly what I would do to the NetEase developers if they did that. The amount of money you sink into personnel expansion in Corp Tech is just insane. It's just insane. Anyway, we keep doing it though because we're nuts. What they're saying is the most interesting dynamic alliance size for them, for what they like, is 10 to 15. What they're doing is continuing to choreograph yet again for the third month in a row that they want alliance sizes down to 15. Okay? And we're going to continue with this as I explain why they want that. Okay? But they're saying that most of those small alliances like that have 10 to 15 corporations, each one of their corps has a 200 member limit because they haven't put anything into the corporation expansion yet. Okay? Yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing, Barrick. It's exactly what I've been doing. Nagatus for months. 300 a week, by the way, not 150. 300 a week for months because I have 2 corps to do it on. Actually, I have 3, but the third one we just don't seem to. I don't know. Anyway, long story short, I'm going to just not talk about it because my blood pressure will go up at this point. Anyway, so that's what they're saying, is that the alliance size between 10 and 15 and has a normal, those ones that they're looking at that they think is the most dynamic, and has corporations where there's only a 200 member count because they haven't put any money into it. That's what they're getting at. They're not getting it lowering the count. I just can't see them doing that. Can't see them doing that. Currently, the number of alliances in the entire universe with 21 to 30 member corporations has dropped to fewer than 5. They're all AOA. and the member corp, but every single one of them is 30. It's all 5. And the member corporations of all other alliances have been reduced to below 20. Yeah, Silent Alliance proper is at 20. So the upcoming relevant changes are as follows. The alliance member size fee, which is going to start tomorrow. The suspension fee is dynamically determined by the maximum number of member corps in the alliance within 7 days. That is tomorrow. So 1 to 15 corps, the fee remains unchanged. And I don't know what that fee is off the top of my head, but it's something. I forget what it is. But 16 to 20 increased from number of corps times 100 to number of corps times 300 million. So it's 300 million times 16, or 300 million times 18, or up to 20, right? Previously, that ISK amount was for alliances that were 21 to 25. But now, get this. If you're 21 to 25 members, it goes from 300 million per corp to 1 billion per corp. So if you have 25 corps in your alliance, one of those 5 that do, you are now going to be spending 25 billion a week. 25 billion a week. And if you're from 26 to 30, you're going to be spending, if you fucking had 30, you're going to be spending 60 billion a week. Because that went from 500 to 2 billion per corp. Exponential tax brackets. That's exactly what that is. Like, holy fucking shit. That is a ton. I mean, there's entities that can handle that. There's entities that can handle that. But like, why would you? why would you do that? I don't know why you would do that. That's stupid. So yeah, I mean, that's the new fee coming in. I'm sure once they figure out the map stuff, they will probably go back and add that SOV tax too with your numbers of SOV and hit it as well. I'm sure they do, Barrick. I'm sure they do. I mean, really, all they have to do, Barrick, is just create more alliances, and they don't blue them with one another. So who cares? That's all you do. Like, you can be blue with another alliance without actually setting anybody blue. You just kind of have like a don't be stupid rule, right? I mean, it takes a while for people to figure that out, aka silent pilots. But I mean, like, you can do that and not spend a dime. Just have to know how to actually fight. Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of yet more progressively increased taxes. I think that means alliances at 20 is going to be most people's cap, unless you're, RMTing your way through 60 bill a week, which I'm sure AOA can handle just fine because they were paying those huge sovereignty fees as well that are gone, that just disappeared. So they're probably laughing, saying that's not enough to make us change. So, is what it is. Yeah, I know, Cool Runner. I know. Number 2 on last week's patch notes, corporation diplomacy. This one I don't really like. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to just scratch my head, and we're going to move on. Currently, when a corporation is not joined an alliance, it can establish diplomatic relations with other alliances, and these relations remain effective after joining. So if you're a corp and you set another alliance blue, and then you join another alliance, you still have that. Like, of course, why would your diplomatic change? I don't understand why this would change. After the adjustment, though, if a corporation joins an alliance, the diplomatic relations between the corp and the alliance will become invalid, and the diplomatic relations between alliances will take precedence. So your alliance settings take precedence down to the corp until you change it after the fact. I have no idea why they felt like this was something they needed to change or waste time on. This does not affect the diplomatic relations between corporations and other corporations. In the future, we will evaluate whether to reduce the number of diplomatic relations that corporations joining an alliance can establish with other corporations. This is one. That part right there, I get, because this is one of the workarounds, right? You can take 10 corporations, not put them in an alliance, but set them all blue per corp at the corp level, and it'd be free. So now you've just taken 10 corps and made them free without any other diplomatic entanglements or alliances or otherwise. Exactly, Crackling. Exactly. So they'll probably change that to where if your corporation is in an alliance, you don't get to set any diplomatic standings, and it only comes from the alliance. That's probably what the next step there will be. I don't know whether or not that's a good idea, to be honest. I think that's a bad idea. I think that kind of screws a few things for people, but namely an alt corp like mine. I have 2 alt corps outside of PIG that are not even inside an alliance, so we don't have to worry about it. And we just kind of have we understand who they are, and a few areas we have them set blue, and otherwise we don't care. It doesn't bother us too bad. Now I'm not sure what to do with those. So if that becomes a thing, that'll be kind of difficult. So anyway, number 3 on the list from last week, ship construction costs. With the development of New Eden's construction technology, more advanced capital ship component manufacturing skills will be unlocked, further reducing the cost of manufacturing capital ships. For some of the modules and drones with higher tech levels, the manufacturing material requirements will also be gradually reduced slightly as technology matures. We have also noticed that some low-tier modules and rigs are severely oversupplied. After reducing costs, we will optimize the insurance mechanism to boost the demand for low-tier items and reduce the burden of piloting advanced ships. Okay. That's it for the 1, 2, 3 preview they gave us last week. Some of this, the diplomacy stuff and the alliance preview, they didn't give us any updates on, but the ship construction costs they did. We'll dive into that in a moment. Then, of course, they did some bug fixes with the respawn delay for the Advanced Inquisitor Cosmic Anomaly. They did a couple of little things there that, yeah, cool, whatever. Moving on. Let's get into this week's massive patch notes. There's a ton here. There's just a ton here. So, tomorrow morning will be a 120-minute update as normal, starting at 0800 UTC. And the first and foremost thing is the Nanocore Databank. Now, this is something that we've actually talked about on the show before, so this shouldn't be new to anybody, that they're going to come up with a way for you to be able to take your nanocores and basically like upload them to the cloud so that you could download them onto another ship somewhere else anytime you needed them. So you don't have to transport a fully blinged out nanocore, put it into an interceptor, and have it die to a bodyguard at a gate. That's basically what they're doing here. However, they did it with a hitch. Capsuleers with the Omega Duo bundle can use the Nanocore Databank. When Capsuleers with Omega Duo bundle dismantle a nanocore, it will automatically be uploaded to the databank. They can also manually upload cores from the station or Citadel hangars or download them from the databank to those locations. So you have to have Duo Omega to use this feature. This is the first time in the history of this game that they have ever put anything in as a feature that you can only use with Duo Omega. Everything else has always been just Omega or Alpha, right? Your Alpha gets restricted, which of course they've restricted even heavier as of late. Yeah, you've opened up ship types, but you can't do any PI as an Alpha account. But you can, with just basic Omega, do everything in the game. Now you are restricted by not one, but two things that you cannot do unless you have Omega Duo Bundle. The first is this nanocore databank thing, which, frankly, I don't care. This is, okay, whatever. I mean, nanocores can never die, I guess, unless you're stupid and you put it in a scepter and it dies in a bodyguard. But, or you just don't understand how to transport them by, fitting it to said ship and moving it that way so that it doesn't go into insurance. I mean, it's really not hard. It's really not hard. I don't. It's kind of a neat feature from the standpoint of making like cloud storage, if you will, in game, which makes zero sense since it's a physical thing and not a digital thing. But it's also a digital game, so whatever. But the second thing here that they added, which is quite interesting. They've said for a year now, over a year and a half, maybe I don't know how long it was, when they actually posted an actual image on the official Discord talking about ship naming and station containers coming soon. Like literally they posted that image and then never did it, and then tell us that they can't do it and that they won't do it because it would cause too much bog on the server for everybody to have thousands of containers of shit. So here's their workaround. It too is locked behind Omega Duo Bundle. It is the Capsuleer Personal Office Inventory. The Station Operation Panel has added the option to rent backup inventory in stations for categorizing and storing Capsuleer's items. All Capsuleers can rent, but only those with Omega Duo Bundle can use the rented hangar. So I can have Omega or Alpha, and I can rent a hangar, throw shit in it, and not be able to pull it back out until I have Duo Omega. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Materials from the backup inventory will not be spent when producing with construction or upgrading nanocores with modules. Each station's backup inventory requires a weekly maintenance fee and rent of 4 million ISK, which is absolutely nothing, so who cares? Which will be automatically deducted from the wallet. When unable to pay the fee, the backup inventory will cease operation and the materials inside will be frozen and cannot be moved out, or used until the fee is paid. The maximum fee of anything that's doesn't accumulate, so the overdue amount is capped at that 4 million ISK. So the amount of money is nothing, so I'm not sure why they even charge it. Like, it's 4 million, and it doesn't go to the corporation either. It just goes into a sink. Like, it's just ISK that's wiped out of the game. I think that amount should be 10 times that, 40 million. But I think you should be able to do more than one. I do like the idea. I do like the concept, and I do like that they found a workaround for station containers. I don't like this. It's put behind Omega Duo. If it's just put behind Omega, then that's understandable. I could see that. You just have to be Omega, not Alpha, in order to use it. But there's like multiple scenarios where I think that this is a very useful, very handy thing. Like, you can now segregate your two hangars. You just dump everything into the one hangar and just move the stuff into your main hangar that would be consumed in construction and building or whatever of the things you're trying to accumulate or work towards for a rig or for an integration or for whatever. So no thanks, Bradrick. Bradrick in chat says, I'm glad you're in charge. I'm just going to have you explain it in my DMs again. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a nice addition. I think it's poorly implemented, much like a lot of things in this game. But, well, okay. So think of it this way, though, Beatdown. Think of it this way, because you're not wrong. But it's like, if their subscriptions were high enough, right? If enough people were paying the $15 a month, would they be making enough revenue to not push more and more stuff into boxes? Probably. Would they still push it into boxes? Yes, they would. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like it's a credible ISK sink. Yeah, the ships in a box will never end. I don't think it's a credible ISK sink because the dollar amount is too low. I think it's just a fucking stupid number that they threw in there so that it's not zero. But actually, what it should be is it should be a number that the corporation sets, and then the money goes to the corporation if you want that extra. I mean, that's what it should be. But whatever. Anyway, I already know quite a few people who are excited about that and are going to use it because they're already doing Omega anyway, so whatever. And for those guys that are doing that, $15 a month, fine. Go for it. Cool. Good for you. I don't really see how it impacts like the game from a standpoint of anybody being better off with it versus those who don't. So whatever. Doesn't impact the game. Neither does the Nanocore data bank really, other than those idiots. Maybe there'll be fewer guys eating it through a gate camp. I don't know. In their cargo hold. We'll see. We'll see. Plex Market might have a problem. Plex Market might have a problem. Yeah, people might be trying to plex it up to get Duo or something for some of this stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Balance adjustments on ships. Science C, new bonus for the Science C, plus 50% merit from defeating pirates. What that means is you're going to earn more loyalty points in the Advanced Inquisitors and Null Space, and you're going to earn more loyalty points when you're using a Science C in faction warfare in one of the low-sec systems that's an entry point to nullsec. And my god, if you're using a fucking Science C in Tazzy, whatever, how the fuck you pronounce it, wherever the hell that's at. Ned, I forget what the other systems were. All those low-sec entries into null. If you're using Science Cs there, you deserve to die. It's not worth the extra 50% merit to use that ship. Use a Marshal instead. Tazy, thank you, Corey. I knew I could count on you, as always. Tazy, gotcha. Then when you spell it like that, the way it's supposed to be spelled instead of like pasties, then I don't have that problem trying to call it Tazy or whatever. It's or whatever. I'm seeing now I can't even say it wrong at this point. Tazy, gotcha. Anyway, they also adjusted the Venture Covert Ops. They increased attributes such as capacitor and EHP by approximately 5%. I love how they can't just say by 5%. They have to say by approximately 5% because nothing in this game has no double digits behind it. It's probably 4.9738564, some stupid ass number that you can't math. But this is the second or third time that they've buffed the Venture Covert Ops. Has anybody paid attention to that? Because they have. It's kind of interesting. And there's a couple of interesting things about a Venture Covert Ops, too, that I've learned. I don't fly one, although I probably will soon, after learning this. If you take a Venture Covert Ops into a belt and you're trying to get Morphite, you can snipe Morphite, the Mercoxic, out of those belts with the Venture Covert Ops faster than you can just strip mine the whole belt. So that's quite interesting. And as anybody who's paid attention to anything I've been saying in the last few weeks inside of Silent knows, I love Morphite. Skills. Mothership Command Technology. Its skill category has been changed from cooperative combat to fleet support. Savarta, I think you're in chat. Explain that one to me. Does that mean that's the Mothership Command Technology is the one that just goes to the Science C, right? I know they interswap this mothership thing, and there's a different mothership skill that goes for the VAX, the versatile assaults. That kind of, and they're in that same category of cooperative combat, I think. So hopefully this means they're going to make these less confusing, but I don't know why they got to use this name interchangeably. It's all fleet support, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think ice mining is anything that's coming soon. B-Town, I don't think it is, but we'll see. It'd be interesting for them to have ice, that's for sure. Okay, and moving on with the skills. All capital ship engineering skills changed its warp capacitor consumption from minus 30, minus 30, minus 30 to minus 40, minus 50, minus 60. So you're going to have a decrease on your advanced skills of another 10% when that's maxed out, and your expert skills another 30%. So your warp capacitor consumption on VAX is going to vastly improve tomorrow. If anybody who's flying a Visago and any one of the VAX, any one of the Versal Assault carriers, hence VAC, calling it a Versal Assault ship is stupid. You know why? Because we all fucking know it's a ship. What kind of ship is it? It's a carrier. Okay, thank you. It's a VAC. Moving on. But no, I mean, that solves a huge problem. I only said that because I saw Bunker in chat. It is huge, Savarta. That is huge. That's huge for everything. But the VACs have a real problem with warping on their capacitor, and this definitely solves that for those that are 555 anyway. So, anyway, advanced capital ship component production optimization skill. Jesus, advanced capital ship components production optimization skills are now available. They can reduce the ISK cost of producing different capital ship components, which can be purchased directly in Concord credit or in limited quantities in the recommended store. There's a new store coming tomorrow. So, I don't know exactly. They're saying that they reduced the ISK cost, right? That's the click cost, and that's of ship components. We already have a set of skills and it's bracketed up into 3 separate categories that takes your click cost from 150 million per component to 135 million per component, 15 million per. That adds up when you're doing a super at 796 parts or whatever the fuck it is. So, I mean, that's a big ISK amount. How much further it's going to reduce it, that's anybody's guess until we see the server come up tomorrow morning and we can find out. I'm hoping it gets it down underneath 100 million. What is that? What's the difference between the two, right? Let's do some quick math while we're sitting here. Nothing is sexier on a podcast than doing arithmetic, right? Just doing the numbers. I mean, we're all a bunch of fucking nerds playing spreadsheets in space to begin with. So I'm going to go look at the build calculator. And I just insulted my entire audience. Sorry, not really. I'm going to go pull up a Wyvern. We have a build calculator in Big. I'm going to pull up a Wyvern. Now we're going to see what the total number of components is, and I know what the click cost is. And we can do some very quick math live on air. And those in my corporation know damn well that when you're doing Taylor math, it's never right the first time. Okay, so you have a total of, I think I'm correct on the count. Nope, that's not right. How the fuck is that? Wait, here we go. Process. I gotta wait for it to refresh. It said 800 and some odd parts. I knew that wasn't right. Give me a sec. Takes it a minute for it to refresh. 795 Zambuk. Yeah, I think that's what I had in my head as well. I'm just gonna do the thing here and double check. Yep, 795. Okay, perfect. So we can do the math and say 795 times 150 million, which no one's doing it at that number anyway. You shouldn't be. Is 119.25 billion. Okay, that's your baseline. Now, if we do 795 times 135 million. That number goes down to 107.325 billion. So you saved, I don't know, whatever that number was. Someone type those numbers down. I have no idea what I just said. 107 billion. When it goes down to 135. If it goes down to 100 million, then now we're looking at 795, whatever. Times 100 million. I'm going to do the math because I can see the zeros in my head, but I don't know what it means. 79.5, exactly, 79.5 billion. That's a giant reduction. Part costs like 500 million on the market. I'm talking about the click cost. Just that click, just to push the button to make the thing. Is what I'm talking about. That's what they're talking about reducing again. So we can go from 119 billion of your total cost to build the super down to 79.5 in terms of just those individual clicks for the parts themselves. If it goes down to 100 million, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's an interesting thing to do. Obviously, for like nidhoggers and all that, I mean, it's not going to add up to as much, but that does mean the cost of capitals comes down. That means the IP comes down. That means don't IP your shit until after tomorrow. After tomorrow morning, anyway. It makes it almost affordable. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, because really by the time you build a super and you spend that much money, the fitting of it is like half of the fucking build you just did. So, so I'm not sure how much that really helps. If they decrease the overall cost of the holes, but increase the cost of the fittings, I don't really know how advantageous that has become for anybody. But I like the change. I like seeing it. I want to see more capitals being blown up. Yeah. Fleet combat. Let's go. Yes, bunker. Yes. Anything that fucks with indie spreadsheets and makes them have to recalculate, I always get a chuckle out of. I really do, actually. I get a chuckle out of it. Rip Darez. Next thing on this huge list of shit. Ore compression. Ore compression. It's the thing we all know and love. We love to do ore compression in stations. Everybody does it. We love it so much because it burns not some fuel. It burns all the fucking fuel in New Eden. Anytime you try to do compression in a station, you use all the fuel that there is, including the power of the sun, in order to do it. The amounts are astronomical. It's too damn high. All stations have discontinued the service of compressing common ores into high-density polymerized ones, replacing them with rich ore compression lines. So you can no longer do the high-end compression where it's 100 units per. You're only going to be able to do the 10. So now you can't compress it super small. That's correct. Just the rich ores. So, but hey, it reduces the fuel usage. That's one way to reduce the fuel usage of compression. Not to change how things are compressed, but just say, oh, you get 10 times as much and not 100. Like, that's, what in the fuck? And they're adding the compression functionality for Moon Ore. Thank you. Moon Ore is gigantic. It takes millions of meters cubed per belt that you run. It's 7 or 8 million meters cubed for one moon belt that you run. It's impossible to move. So you can compress it now, 10 times compression. So you can take it from 7 million and take it down to 700. What is that? 7 million goes to what? 700,000? So that's not. I just did Taylor math in my head, and I think I'm correct. I'm astonished. I'm astonished. But no, so after the adjustment, common ores like spodumanium, spud, will be compressed into rich spud. We all know that, or their corresponding rich ores. They're just giving an example. Compared to before, the fuel cost. You can tell I'm drinking. I'm sorry. Compared to before, the fuel cost has now dropped by approximately 60% when compressing the same amount of ores. So they've actually going to reduce the fuel on top of that. So it's going to go down 60%, reduce C70's fuel cost by approximately 80%, and reduce C50's and 60's fuel cost by over 90%. So the actual fuel cost for compressing all of this stuff is going to go down dramatically, more than half. Moon ores such as stellarite can now be compressed into rich ores using the new compression production line in the station. The corresponding uncompressed ores can be obtained by reprocessing them. They will not be reprocessed into minerals. Now, when they say this, I think they mean rich stellarite instead of just stellarite, rich crystals instead of crystals, and then when you decompress them, they go back into their normal state. If they don't, and you can compress moon ore into spod or dark ochre, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. Like, rip. How did you become alchemists? That's what I want to know. But anyway, that's the way that reads, though. That reads like alchemy, is what that dark ochre or ochre. Isn't that ochre? Not ochre. Dark ochre. Whatever the hell that ore is. I don't know. I don't know the names of the fucking minerals in the belts. I'm hardly ever in a belt. If I am, I'm just sitting there waiting for hoping the god of neutral comes in so I can fucking kill him. So, anyway, that's it on ore compression. That is a much needed change. I think that's a huge change, actually. I'm giving him all kinds of shit here, but actually reducing the cost by that much, 60% across common ores, 80% across C70, and 90% across 50 and 60. Yet to be seen what the fuel consumption looks like on moon ores, but I would imagine it's probably huge. I would imagine it's probably huge. So on the fuel consumption there, but probably worth it because they're just impossible to haul, next to impossible to haul. So rip, I didn't see the freighter in this week's patch, so I'm big sad. But that freighter's coming; it's in game in the code. All right, construction, wind manufacturing, ferrocene, and other intermediate materials like ferrogel, I would imagine. The manufacturing quantity per batch has been increased from a maximum of 10 groups to 20 groups. Someone explain that to me. Someone explain that one to me. Does that mean when I go and make a ferrocene and I'm expecting it to get 10 out or something, I'm now going to get double that? I don't... The stacks... Oh, thank God. That takes the time... You're right. That takes the time of you making those fucking things from forever until hell freezes over to at least half that. That's what that means. Yep, you can stack 20 builds at a time instead of 10. Thank you. That's amazing because the time it takes to build those things is astronomically long. Yes, Cool Runner, yes. The red balls, they're not orbs. I can tell you're in Pravi. You're saying the wrong thing. It's red balls. It's red balls equals AIDS. And the gold balls, not orbs. We don't call them orbs, they're balls. Well, I mean they are for us up north because we're men. I don't know about Pravi. I'm kidding, Cool Runner. I just mean that for OC. Anyway, two other big things as part of this construction change. Capsuleer Scout Outpost. Change the ratio of morphite and intermediate material requirements, reducing the total cost by approximately 8%. Corporation Scout Outpost. Change the ratio of morphite and intermediate materials requirements, reducing the total cost by approximately 7%. So they're making both of those a little bit cheaper to build. And there's a huge region. Jesus. Hold on, I gotta get some coffee. One sec. I have a hot coffee here. I just had to go grab it. All right. Anyway, there's a huge reason. God damn. Word to the wise. On EONE After Dark, I'm probably always going to be this drunk. Gee, Christmas. There's a huge reason as to why they're making that change. We'll see that later on in the patch notes. I think it's kind of crazy that they've done what they've done with certain structures anyway, and I think they're kind of cleaning that up. So we'll get to that in a minute. Market. On the market side, to improve the convenience of capital ship trading when there are insufficient transport ships. Hey, Netties, you know why there are insufficient transport ships to take a 2 million meters cubed ship, a capital ship from, I don't know, anywhere in Losec or Null into Jeddah? Do you know why there's an insufficient number of transport ships? Because you haven't made any that can hold 2 million meters cubed. That's why there's an insufficient number of transport ships. Fucking hell, make the goddamn ships. Increase the cargo hold, something. Instead, what they're doing is, you guessed it, another ISK sink. Now, At the same time, to ensure the orderly operation of the delivery industry, the capital ship delivery fee has been increased. Oh, because this will increase the orderly operation of delivery by making it cost more. Capital ship delivery fee of billion plus 100 million times delivery distance in light years. The delivery fee for supercarriers is twice that of regular capitals. So if you want to deliver for ungod knows what reason you would deliver a wyvern to Jeddah, you can spend 2 billion plus however many light years away the ITC was you were in when you started the delivery system. Please note that the vast majority of capital ships cannot enter HISEC for combat. After purchase, the capital ship must remain packaged and be delivered to another low-sec trading center using the station delivery feature before it can be assembled and deployed. Here's the dumb thing about this. They are literally wasting their time to make changes to their delivery system that zero people in this game use. Absolutely zero. I mean, if there's one newbie who used it once for no fucking reason, just because he thought I'd fuck off for the night and try. But that's it. Now, nobody else uses the delivery system. Nobody else wants to use the delivery system. Nobody else cares about the fucking delivery system. For whatever reason, they keep doubling down on Jeddah having to be the only trade hub in this game. It is a detriment to the market that they've done that. It's an absolute detriment to the market. All these ITCs you have are there for zero fucking reason. Every time you pull up the market, you should only see the market tied to your local ITC. And that is it. Period. For every item in the game, including Plex. All of it. And IP should be tradable on that market as well, by the way, but it should be all regionally based on your local ITC. You should never be able to see every single thing that's on the entire server on the market at any given time, even if you're in Jeddah. If you did that, then people could take all of their capital ships and move them to their local ITC that's right inside of LowSec, or even in NullSec in a few places, and sell their capitals there. Now you would have market PvP exactly chained, and you would also have increased opportunities for PvP on people buying their fucking capitals in those areas, trying to get them out and move them around, instead of this safety wrapper bubble you want to put around shit. Competition for sales everywhere. You're correct. Fortizar markets. Somebody put a Fortizar up in the market for sale. I know who bought it. It's crazy. I didn't understand why you put a Fortizar up in the market for sale. Use it. Bacon, I only like bubble wrap on my strippers. Other than that, there's no reason to have bubble wrap. Okay. That's it for the stupid market stuff. I have no idea why they keep screwing that up. Yes, Jane, the vegan strippers. All natural that way. No byproducts. No red dye number 5 or whatever it is. Structures. Capsuleer outpost. The fuel cap has been reduced to the same level as the Capsuleer scout outpost. Okay, so the fuel level cap is now the same across the 2 outposts. And there's only the 2 outposts moving forward soon. Only the 2 outposts. No other kinds. The unanchoring time has been reduced from 48 hours to 24 hours. So if you want to unanchor your outpost, you can do so now inside of a 24-hour period instead of a 2-day period. I think that's great. And the minimum hull reinforcement duration has been reduced from 48 hours to 24 hours. So that's even better. So what it was before is if the 48 hours things was if their hull timer was on a Friday at noon, that's when they set their whole timer to, their local time, Friday at noon. But you reinforced it 36 hours before that, then it wouldn't be until the following freaking Friday. So it'd be almost like 8 some odd days, right? That's giving somebody a lot of time to be able to prepare for that defense. Now it's only 24 hours. So if it's set Friday at noon and you get it to hull, yeah, exactly. The 8-day timers are gone. Now you're down to 7-day timers at this point. It's no longer 8, almost 9 days. It's 7 days at a max. So you just have to happen to reinforce that thing um, you know, just inside of that 24-hour window in order for it to be a whole nother fucking week. Which I think is great, because now you can go and figure out when the timers are and set them. Yep. Exactly. They won't know they're going to have a defense that next day if you figure out your timing on that. I think it's great. It makes that way. You could have done that in terms of the 48-hour window, but it made it a little harder because now you had 2 days. I think 24 hours is great. Capsular Scout Outpost now comes with cloning center service by default. Unanchoring time was reduced from 36 to 24. Tips will now display armor reinforcement duration. Capsular Outpost 3. Time to upgrade to the Corporation Citadel reduced from 16 days to 7 days. So if you want to go from a T3 to a T4, it's now only 7 days to do so instead of 16. That sucks. Fuck you. Make it 16 days so that I can spam shooting it, pausing the timer, and make you suffer for a whole month. Screw you, NetEase. Note, cannot be downgraded after upgrade. Yes, I know, I've had this drilled into my head that a T4 cannot be downgraded. That's also stupid. Please, NetEase, change that and allow for these forever T4 Citadels, which will forever be where they are and can never be blown up, be able to be blown up or downgraded or something. Give me a choice. I would rather have a choice. Any one of these Citadels. I want a choice of intosising or blowing it up. Just give me a choice. You know, just do a little pop-up. Would you like to entosis the Citadel? Yes or no? No. Okay. Boom. It blows up. I mean, that's what we need. Or, I don't know, in the AMA they had a while back, and Cloud says, well, we don't, or not Cloud, but the other dude. What's the other guy? Lansdot was like, we don't really know what the Titans would be used for. I got a good use for you. Make that be the only thing that can blow up a T4. How about that? I'm fine with that. Exactly, Bradrick. I don't know why T4s are safe. I don't get it either. They should be downgradable. All those think of the poor folks in the South who are suffering without SRP because they can't get station parts from all of my T4s. I'm just saying. They temporarily removed the Corporation Frontline Outpost blueprint from sale on the Jita market. That's as of tomorrow. So if for some reason you feel like building a frontline outpost for your corporation in the next few weeks, they're going to remove that blueprint tomorrow. And here's why. With technological advancements, Corporation Frontline Outpost technology has been applied to reconnaissance outposts. In 2 weeks, Corporation Reconnaissance Outposts and Capsular Scout Outposts, both of which are anchorable in Cobalt Edge, can now be anchored in Ethereum Reach region. Okay? So, in a couple of weeks, we're only going to have 2 types of outposts and 2 types of citadels. You've got a regular outpost, pause, and you've got a Capsular Scout Outpost, which will be for drone lands. Then you've got a regular Citadel or Corporation Outpost that can be upgraded to a Corporation Citadel, or you've got a Corporation Reconnaissance Outpost, which cannot be upgraded. Those are the 2. Yeah, the Frontline has more hit points than a Recon. Yeah, I know. And so that's going to kind of be interesting to see if all of a sudden I wake up one day and the front lines that are in Ethereum Reach are suddenly Corporation Renaissance ones, or Reconnaissance ones, and all of a sudden they're going to be way easier for the rats to blow them up. Fuck you again, NetEase. God damn it. One cool thing, though, and I believe they mean this for Cobalt and Ethereum, even though they don't necessarily say it, although I hope it is just for Ethereum because I think this would be great, but they add a note after they say Corporation Reconnaissance Outposts and Corporation Scout Outposts will be able to anchor in Ethereum Reach region, comma, and Waste Seeker siege bases will appear. Oh, it does say in the Ethereum Reach region. Okay, so just in Ethereum, you'll see Waste Seeker siege bases. So that's cool. That's cool. I don't know what the hell those are. I don't know why I care, but it's something new, so we'll see. And it's exclusive to Ethereum, so that's kind of cool. More of a reason for people to go there. Attempt to go there. Relic Scramble reduces the relic spawn interval by 50%. Loyalty points gained from single data gathering increased by 67%. The event extended to June 30th, so you'll get more loyalty points at a faster rate at the Relic Scramble, which is Faction Warfare, all the way out till June 30th. That's a good thing. I don't know anybody who's really doing that anymore. I don't know anybody who's doing that anymore. That would be funny to see the Centrums. That would be funny. I don't know what's in those siege bases, but that would be... Give me a bunch of capitals. Make it like a... I don't know. Tough. Alright, they made a boatload of changes tomorrow for implants. I mean, there's a lot here. I almost can't read it. But here we go. All implants, durability cap increased from 100 to 255. So, those little needles that you get to re-up your usage of the implants have now gone from 100 to 255. That just means you've got a storage container of all of that for your main implants. That's an odd value, yes. I don't know why 255. I don't get it. Why not just 100 to 200 or 100 to 300? Integer cap, yeah. I mean, wouldn't that be 999? I don't understand. As referenced by what, though? It's a 3-digit fucking number. It's like inventory. Yeah, 255 is not 16 bits. I don't understand what you mean by integer cap. Explain, Bacon. He keeps saying in chat, integer cap. I don't get it. Better question, who asked for that increase? Yeah, exactly, Trupa. Who asked for the increase? Tiny integer in a database equals 255. Okay. I get what you're getting at. I get what you're getting at, but I still don't think it makes any sense, Bacon. You know why it doesn't make any sense? Because it's inventory. It's an inventory where you use something. Why is this 255 suddenly a magic number on your implants when 255 is not a I can hold more than 255 titanium in my inventory. Yeah, so change the fucking 8-bit integer cap on the implants. What the fuck? I mean, did they make the code like old Fortran or something? Like, what the fuck? I know what you're getting at. They fucked up. That's what they're saying. Is they fucked up the database for that item inside the implants. When they defined the database, they fucked it up. There are only 10 types of people in the world: those who understand binary and those who don't. Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Bacon. I get what you're saying. I understand. I'm still saying it's dumb. 2 plus 2 is 5. I get it. Anyway, all right, so Focus Crystals, enough on that. I'm dying here. Focus Crystal Stability Reinforcement Unit, they made an increase there for its duration. They almost doubled it. So it went from 2 to 10 to 3 to 15 seconds. Its dissipation increased up another 5% to the max. Pulse Crystal Flight Time Reinforcement Unit V3 through V5, they made adjustments to just that particular GU. That's an advanced GU. Multi-frequency crystal overclocker mastery branch also reduces the activation time of energy neutralizations. So they made a nerf to that. Thermal circ time penalty upon overheating is reduced to 200% from 300. So the railgun activation time penalty has been decreased on the thermal circ. So that is a buff. Kinetic burst, it will now currently display the tracking speed penalty upon activation. This attribute decreases with level from 80 to 44%, down to 44%. This is a text-only change with no actual change to its effect. So this is something it's already doing. They're just changing it to where you can see it now. Sniping technology, new bonus. So this is definitely a buff to sniping technology. It's a new bonus. Passive 0.75% to 30% optimal and fall off range. So just having the sniping plant on can give you a passive buff to your range. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a huge nerf. Buff, I mean. Warhead charge, new effect. Each type of warhead can penetrate corresponding resistances by 0 to 3% with increases with level. Each type of warhead can penetrate corresponding resistance. Okay, interesting. So your DPS just went up. Also for missiles, support projection. In-flight disruption warhead. Reduce the damage penalty. So you're getting more damage back out from your penalty. And the disruption chance has been changed from 20% to 12 to 21%. So you're actually getting a little bit of a ramp up in its effectiveness, and your damage is going up. Same thing with ECM warhead. Its damage penalty has been changed from 15% to 14 down to 8. I don't know, over time or whatever it's applied. Same thing with the EMP warhead. Same exact numbers. Automatic defense, they changed the automatic defense effect, just the overall effect, to be effective against drones in outer space by default without selecting the remote drone charge branch. So now you can get drones to unlock easier than what you were doing before. If it even did it before. I thought it did it before to begin with. I guess maybe the way they're doing this is making it more effective. The reload disruption warhead base interval has been reduced from 60 to 45 seconds, so you can speed that up. The logistics optimization branch, the activation time bonus changed from -30 to -15. And it has a new effect. Drone estimated hit points plus 7.5 to 30. Drone signature radius -7.5 to -30. And the remote drone charge effective change to drone damage plus 1.5% to 15. And drone velocity plus 6 to 24. This makes automatic defense a little bit more potent. I think there's quite a few people who don't really use it to its real effect, but maybe they will now at this point. That sounds like a nice nerf to automatic defense. Making some changes to the reactive implant. Ship armor and structure adjustment unit. Change the structure penalty from -10% to -7.5%. So your penalty has been decreased. That's again a buff. Same thing on sensor dampening resistance. Change the scan resolution penalty from -10 to -7.5%. Again, a buff. Targeting disruption resistance unit. Change the turret tracking speed penalty from 10% to -7.5%. That again is a buff. Everything here is a buff. Target painter resistance, again, same numbers, 10 to -7.5. Same thing for capacitor warfare resistance, the emergency capacitor recharge effect from -10 to -7.5. So, they made a bunch of buffs to the reactive implants. Yep, buffing armor. Armor's the superior one out of all of those. The shield isn't. So, new content. Because, in the last couple of weeks, they came out with this month or 2 months or whatever it was. I guess it's been almost 45 days. But, yeah, that's not me, TBK, that's you. Because we all love bodyguards now, and nobody can sell a Lancer anymore because nobody wants one. So I've seen Lancer prices go down to 40 bill, completely fit. So... kind of wild. Now they come out with new content for the Lancers. Thunderstruck, Disruptive Lance. The Amar Empire has released a more advanced Annihilator Doomsday weapon, which is more destructive and releases arcs that neutralize the target ship's capacitor. This model can use capacitor neutralization effects while ignoring part of the target's capacitor warfare resistance, and the beam strength and beam radius has also been partially improved. How to obtain? Obtain through industrial manufacturing or store for a limited time. So they're going to have a Disruptive Lance Doomsday weapon, the Thunderstruck, in a box. In a box. So we'll see how effective that is, because the Lancers, at one point we kind of looked at those as being a great defang for incoming heavy fighters or fighters. wiping out drones, but it's too slow of a warm up. It's too small of an area of effect to really be effective effective on a small scale anyway. A lot of them, sure, because there's just so much space you're taking up with a whole bunch of them. Man, that's got to be a coordinated thing. We'll see if the Thunderstruck is worth it. We'll see. It's a cool weapon. I still like Lancers, but yeah, the Cheese Whiz on the bodyguards is OP. I don't see how it's broken. I don't call it broken. I love the fact that when you're in a fleet with 20 of your friends and you're in your bodyguard and you have your Cheese Whiz gun on and you accidentally somehow you disconnect somehow, you're no longer in the fleet and you're shooting all your friends. Like, I love that. Like, I will purposely disconnect for that. So, yeah, I think that's great. It's awesome. Everyone dies. Yeah, it's Trog gun. Yes, it's definitely a Trog gun archery. It is. You know all about that, don't you? You do. You do. And I'll say right now, live on air, that knee pilot deserved it. So, moving on. New arrivals. The recommended store now has a new arrival, the Thunderstruck Lance supply box, which will be open to receive the new Thunderstruck Lance, and plenty of Ascension neural compilers, clone-bound, of course. The Navigator program returns, event duration March 12th through March 31st. The Navigator program is now here again, top up at 499R, to start a new round of monthly skill point supplies. Top up, blah, 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 we know what that is. And we're at the end of the patch notes. Here's a couple of bug fixes. Fix the issue where the corporation hangar approval interface might fail to open in rare cases. Yeah, there's times when it just doesn't open for me at all because I have that much shit. Or it takes forever to load. Just walk away, come back 5 minutes later. Fix the issue where the icon of the supply box did not go gray after looting. I mean, that would drive me insane. I don't know. I haven't seen that happening, but that, to me personally, but that would drive me nuts. Fix the display issue with the Smart Assistant interface when piloting some of the ships. And remove the hint for obtaining 0 merit. I don't have any idea what the hell they mean by removing that, but okay, cool. That is it for the patch notes for this week. So we've gone through 2 different patch notes. We've spent an hour and 10 minutes together. That's amazing. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything else? Oh, look at this. Guy died. Guy died in his Nestor because he was sitting there with a bunch of bodyguards and he disconnected, I bet. Yep, I bet you disconnected. To Trog guns, yep. DC'd on his alts, yep. Alt on alt crime, that's hilarious. Disconnects do suck, Guy, they do. That's not a cheap, 39 bill, that's not horrible, but not cheap either. What is that, like 8,000 IP or something? For a Nestor? I don't know, I haven't had to IP anything in a while. So I don't know. No, I mean, there's not much you can do to fix that, Bradrick. There's not much you can do to fix that. You're disconnected, you're no longer in the fleet. It doesn't, Savarta, I mean, you're kind of half right. You're kind of half right. So, yep, Rip Taylor. Yep. I also don't die very often, so I mean, there is that. Unless, of course, I'm in a Phantasm or a Fiend. Then I die every fucking time I take a fleet out in a Fiend. I mean, that's just... I'm pretty sure it's because they all think it's Rambo. Because that alt's name is Rambo Rick. So, they all think it's Rambo and they just focus fire him. So, that's why. Dies every time. Yeet fleets with Taylor Rick. All right, that's all I got. That's all I got for this week. Sorry I couldn't make it last weekend for the show. I'm sure there'll be. I'm sure the guys will be back for this Sunday first show. I have no idea if I can make a Sunday show for the next couple of weeks, but I will be doing more of this. Patch notes reading, any other game stuff I feel like needs to be talked about. We'll definitely be doing more of this on Tuesdays, pre-patch. No word on cam pods. I have no idea what you mean by cam pods, Frederick. Everybody's using pods as cams. I mean, so what? Who cares? Kill them. Throw a bubble. Put 1 point on them, long point with a slasher in there. Instant popped. Like, who cares? I don't like that most of those that are doing it in AOA space are on scripts. And they just, whatever. Repeat, exactly. That part is dumb. So, you need to see that, you need to watch that, you need to see which station they're coming from, and you need to pop them, and then bubble that station, and just repeatedly pop them over and over again so they can't go back, and then report it. And just report it. At that exact same timestamp, all of it. And then there you go. That's how you do that. That's how you do that. Ouch. Ouch. How many were actually there, Archer? And Geminate, how many were actually there? Just the 3, okay. So what, were you in like a Cat Fleet special? Because it says 31. Is there just a bunch of little ships there too or something? Waste Seeker grab. In AD-TAC and Geminate, right in the border of their SOF on the backside. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yes, I'm aware of Savarta. Yep, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But you got to report it though. Just got to report it. Get a screenshot, report it, time stamped, and all that. So. All right, that's all I got for tonight, guys. Thanks for coming. Great audience. 31 in total in the audience tonight. That's awesome. 30, actually, because, Rambo doesn't count because he's the co-host. But thanks for coming, Rambo. Sorry you're at work. We will see everybody, hopefully this weekend, on a regular show. And if not, I'll definitely see you next week for another one of these. Thanks for coming, guys. We'll catch y'all later. 07.
Echoes of New Eden is the best. Simply the best podcast maybe ever. It's just the best.
A whole lot of blah, 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 blah. You suck!
Rolling